everyone. Good evening on this Monday. The mere fact that you are on here on a Monday evening says a lot. It says that you are concerned about your credit and that you are concerned about your finances, whether your finances are good, whether they're not so good, or if you're unsure if they're good or not. So, either way, you still want to be well aware of what is going on with your credit. And so on tonight, we're just going to talk about the science of credit, which means we're going to kind of break it down a little bit. And I'll go through the entire presentation, so bear with me. And then toward the end, I will open up the Zoom so that we can take questions and answers according to however much time we have allowed left to do so. Also, just in case you're on here and you don't know who I am, my name is Candy Martin. I am the owner of Martin Business Solution. We help not just business owners, but individuals as well. I believe that every great business is ran by a great person. So a lot of times, even though the bulk of our services are geared towards small business owners and entrepreneurs, I would like to say that along the way, we like to help people. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. It is such a great privilege to be before you guys. So we're going to dive right in. We are also live streaming on YouTube. So if you have someone who doesn't know exactly how to use Zoom, I'm pretty sure they know how to use YouTube. So if you want to shoot them a text message, have them to go to the AK Legacy Foundation on YouTube, and they can find us there. Also, toward the end, we will have some announcements and possibly a coupon or two. So stick around to the end. And if I don't mention the coupon, I'm sure somebody out there will remind me. All right. So what I want to do first, I just want to bring up a presentation slide. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire presentation slide because it can get lengthy. So I just kind of want to go over a few pieces of it so that we can find out where we are, get the conversation going, and then we'll be on our way. Let me make sure I don't have anybody waiting to get in. Just have it for extra security measure that I just don't automatically have it open. So for security, so you guys can feel safe, this is a secure call. All right, so why is it important than ever? Why is this more important than ever? Well, not just because of the COVID-19 or the social unrest and all the things that are going on in our country. During times like crisis, I don't care if it was a tornado, a flood, a pandemic, whatever the case may be, those that thrive on the distractions of others, like the identity theft world, they thrive on preying on people who are distracted during crisis. And so it's very important that you monitor your credit, not necessarily just for the things that you do, but for the things that others may do as well. A lot of times, I've been in business 21 years, and a large portion of that has been centered around helping people with their credit, because anytime you're doing tax preparation or dealing with finances, oftentimes the topic of credit will come up. And so during these last few years, I was able to put together a system and a program that allows me to help clients. And a lot of times we find that the majority of the errors that are on their credit is not something that they did. It was something that they didn't do, which was monitor their credit or reply or respond to an error or a mistake when it first happened. And so lots of times we're undoing things that they necessarily didn't even do. So it is very important. And of course, now during the pandemic, it is even more so, it is even more important. So let's dive right on in. Okay, the single biggest difference between financial success and financial failure is how well you manage your money. It is simple. Master money, you must manage money. I get a lot of times people say, well, can you fix my credit? Can you help me? Well, first of all, I can't fix your credit, but I can give you some tools and resources to help you restore your credit. And also, even if you have great credit, I can even show you how to save money leveraging your credit. So, and a lot of times people understand is I don't have a magic wand, I don't have a magic wand that I can wave and your credit is magic. But I do have a system that you can work through, and I will hold your hand, I'll guide you, and I'll get all the resources and everything that I can to you. So during that process, what it looks like is me coaching you along, me showing you the red flags, like, no, don't do that. So together we can manage your credit, or I can show you how to do it on your own. And so that's what we're going to do today. So managing money is all the secret, if there's a secret. Anybody knows me, I don't use the word secret, I use the word system. But the secret to having great credit is managing your money. And so I'm going to show you some tips and some systems. Um, and then a lot of times people hear me say our foundation, which is bringing this class to you guys, the AK Legacy Foundation. We thoroughly, truly believe that financial literacy is the key to any success. A lot of times people get the skills, they have the talent, they know how to do things, they have the rapport with people, people are drawn to them, but they don't have the financial literacy that they need. And so we believe in teaching financial literacy. So that is the foundation, that is the main floor of our foundation, teaching financial literacy, whether it's to an individual or to a business owner. And when you know things, you make a better decision. So that's part of why we're here today. All right, so we're going to get in here. So I'm going to tell you 5 things that you didn't know about your finances. And listen, if this is not applying to you directly, still get the information. I'm sure there's someone in your family, someone in your community, someone in your church, someone in your business, one of your employees, somebody you know has less than perfect credit. So you definitely want to stay on. And like I said, this is even going to gear toward the end. We're going to even talk to those who have a 750 or above on all 3 of their credit reports. So there's some things we're going to touch on tonight too that would benefit you as well. So we're going to help everybody, whether you have good credit, not so good credit, or unsure credit. All right. All right. Americans are drowning in a total of 1.057 trillion. I couldn't even, I don't even know how to write that on paper, but it's just a lot of zeros. So we are drowning in debt. And this is as of March 2019. So we know that the pandemic is not helping this situation at all. So I am certain that when I do this presentation in 2020, it will be even more. Unfortunately, it will be even more. I'm getting calls already about, hey, my credit is taking a hit. Where are we going to go from here? So, all right, let me move this box so I can read the slide with you all. Hold on 1 second. All right, here we go. 56% of people in the U.S. have no rainy day fund. Okay, so rainy day funds, sunshiny day fund. I like to call them sunshine day funds. I'm just not, I don't want to be negative and say rainy day, but for example, if you don't have $1,000 in a saving that is not tied to your checking, I'm talking about $1,000 just stashed away, hidden in a mattress somewhere that you don't have to rely on or use for daily operations such as grocery, gas, water, light. If you don't have $1,000 tucked away for a true emergency, and let me define the word emergency or rainy day. An emergency is when something happens that you had no plan on, you didn't budget, it's not in the budget, which we're going to talk about budgeting. Hopefully, prayerfully, we'll get a chance to get to the end of the slide where we can discuss budgeting. But if you don't have at least 1,000, and let's say you have 1,000 saved, then well, you need 2. If you have 3, you need 5. So you need to constantly grow that emergency fund. If you have a loved one that lives in, let's say, Wyoming, I'm trying to pick a state that's not red right now with COVID. So let's just say they have a loved one in Wyoming and you are needed immediately. Are you going to use money from your emergency fund, or do you have to spend your light bill money to go? So that is a true emergency, something that was not planned for, that is truly an emergency, and it's not something that you can put off. And so now when rainy days happen, it doesn't put you further in the hole. So I just kind of wanted to explain to you guys, but we'll touch more on that a little later. 46% of baby boomers have less than $10,000 saved for retirement. I know the baby boomers, and then there's my generation. So I'm 45. So let's say someone that 55 or older in that area don't even have $10,000. And so, if you take $10,000 and divide it by 12, that is going to be less than $1,000 a month to survive on. So we want to do something about that. That is why we are on this presentation on tonight. We want to change those numbers. 40% of millennials have spent money they didn't have to keep up with their friends, and most keep it a secret. This is the downside of social media. A lot of times we only show the good things, and we have this picture of what is being great, some awesomeness, and we're showing us having a great time, but we're not showing that we're using that credit card that is tied to our parent's account, or we're using a credit card that have overdraft protection. So now when I get through with this dinner that cost me $50 because I ordered everything and I paid for a friend. So now I'm eating this dinner that's $50. Well, I only had $25 in the account. So now I'm overdrawing $25, and now the bank is charging me $35 on top of that. So they're going in more debt to live their lifestyle, what appears to be. And of course, that's not always the case, and it's not always millennials. There are some people that are my age or older doing the same thing. But however, this is, sticking to the slide, 40% of millennials spend money that they don't have. 43 Americans have a credit score of 599 or less. If you have at least a 640, is considered the least you would want to have in order to do things. So with that being said, if you have at least a 640, you're off to a good running start. If it's less than that, then we need to work on it. And of course, if it's less than a 599, we definitely need to work on that credit score. And I'll talk a little bit later about how interest rates are calculated. Because I do have clients that have a score of a 575 and they can go get a brand new car, but they're not taking in account the interest that they're going to be paying based on that amount of money. All right. All right, go down next slide. Poor credit can fill people with anxiety, embarrassment, frustration, fear, and confusion. So I just kind of want to touch on this a little bit. I wrote a blog not too long ago, and I shared it on our website, on our foundation, and it was talking about how credit weighs people down and how it causes them to not want to deal with it, and not dealing with it is not going to make it go away. So I just want to address that for a second. If you're on this presentation and you're watching it live or you're watching the replay, do not be embarrassed. I am not teaching this course from some book or some textbook that I got off in some far away land. Not only am I certified to teach on credit, and not only am I credible in my area of expertise, I have also lived it. So I was able to work through the process, and living through it gave me a better appreciation and a better understanding of how we get in the credit jam, how we make certain decisions that we make, and things of that nature. So don't be embarrassed. This class is not to condemn you or put you down, or to like, well, how did you let that happen? Life happens. A lot of the times when people get into credit jams, it's because someone offers them a solution. I remember years ago when I was in college, first time away from home, getting a chance to go to college. And when you first walk on the campus, there are all these people giving out all these things. And so, college students, 17, 18, 19 years old, we're gravitating to these tables. I mean, free stuff. Who would not be going? In order to get this t-shirt, just fill this out. And so we're just going through these tables, not reading anything. The counselors aren't out there flagging, red flags saying, don't do that, step away from the table. Matter of fact, the schools allow the the persons to come on and to offer all these things to her. Hey, you're fresh in college, you don't have a job, you just left mom house with half of her things. So, and then they're offering you a $5,000 credit card. Who wouldn't take it? You know, so don't be embarrassed, don't be fearful. Everything that we discuss here will be confidential, but I do want to make sure I put this out there. I was supposed to do it at the beginning. We are streaming live on YouTube, and this is being recorded. It will be uploaded to our website so that you can go back later and watch it, and so that you can share it with others. All right. Like I just said, it's really nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to great people all the time, and we'll kind of get in a little bit more of the details of how we got in it and how we get out of it. Having strong credit leaves people feeling confident, excited, and abundant. So we saw the slide before where everybody was all dreary and just torn down. Well, now that we get into the work of doing the work to restore our credit, or if we have good credit, how to make it even better. If you have a 750, let's aim for an 8. If you have a 640, let's aim for 720. If you have a 545, let's aim for 6. You know, let's set realistic goals. Let's not, you know, we saw on the slide previously, and I'm gonna go back to that slide just really quick, just in case someone missed it. We saw here where it said the 40% of millennials have spent their money that they didn't have to keep up with their friends. So we already know what happens when we're trying to keep up with people. So let's put that aside. We ain't trying to keep up with anybody. We want to put ourselves in a better position for our future so that we can have a legacy for our children, a legacy for ourselves. If you don't have children, we want to be able to know that we were here, and we don't want to be remembered by debt collectors and bill collectors. We want to be remembered by those that benefited from the knowledge that we had to share. So don't worry about it. So you see all these things. Well, this is going to be what happens when you start doing the work. You will be confident, excited, and you will have an abundance. And I don't mean just financially, just being free in your mind, being able to answer your phone, you know, things of that nature. You want to be free, you know, you want to be confident to walk in a place. If you decide that you want to get something on credit, you want to be confident when you walk to the table, and you want to be able to tell them, well, these are the terms and conditions that I'm willing to do, not what they're willing to give you. You want to set the boundaries of what you're wanting to do. And we're going to talk about that as well. So, all right. A good credit score opens up possibilities to create a lifestyle that you desire. And I don't mean just having fun. So, I mean, these are the slides. I probably wouldn't have picked that picture, but hey, you know, when you have people doing things for you. Let me go back. Good credit makes it easier to get a new house, new cars, low interest rate. That's really where I want to talk about the low interest rate. Higher limits, contracts without security deposit. So I'm gonna park right here for just a second, and I'm gonna talk about a few things. Um, like I mentioned earlier, I have clients that have a 545 or a 575, and they just got a brand new car, fresh off the lot. Nobody's even sat in the car. So getting a new car does not signify that you have good credit. That just means that the lender or the call out has a good reputation with some lenders, and they turn cars over enough to where the lender almost sees their name coming through. They just press it because they know that this call out is not selling any junk. Well, to back that and to give them an opportunity for equal trade-off, the car lot gets to sell the car, the finance company gets to earn some money. And they earn the money by charging you higher interest rates. So for example, I can get a car for $300 a month. All right. The exact same car that someone with a 545 can get, the exact same car. I'm paying 300, they may pay 750, but they get to drive the exact same car. So they're paying for the lifestyle. You know, they ever heard of say, well, you're going to buy credit? No, that's for the birds. I don't want to do that. I want the lowest interest rate possible. So if that means I have to wait and save, do whatever I have to do, because every penny that's paid on interest rate, it does not benefit you. So we want to lower the interest rate, and that is what's going to save you money monthly when you lower your interest rate, which is going to put you in a better position to be able to do things like we talked about earlier about our emergency fund. Well, in order to do the emergency fund, we got to have extra money. So where we're going to get the extra money, a lot of us already have the extra money. It is in those interest rates that we are currently paying. So if you have a 640 or if you have a 700, you can still save even more money by getting a lower interest rate. Where it says contracts without security deposit, I get ready to move in a apartment. You get ready to move in an apartment right across the hall from me. We have the same zip code. I have a 720. You have a 520. So we both move in. I don't have to pay a light deposit, but you have to pay a $350 light deposit. That $350 light deposit does not grow interest. When you move out, you get it back. But that's it. That $350 you could have had in your spending to buy things for your new place. So it takes the strain and the stress off, not just to get things, but to save you money. Credit can actually save you money. A lot of times people, when they hear me talk about credit restoration, they immediately think about credit cards. Well, it's more than just credit cards. We're talking about deposit. And our main kicker, I'm here in Louisiana. I don't know where you guys put in the chat where you're from, but I'm in Louisiana, and I think we have the highest auto insurance rate in the world, probably. At least that's the way I feel. Well, a lot of it is based on your credit. The better your credit, the lower your insurance rate. So just think about it. If you can improve your credit score, not necessarily so that you can go get a credit card or a Macy's card, you're thinking about saving money on your car insurance. And if memory serves me correctly, we can't write our car insurance off on our taxes unless it's through a business. And our car insurance, they never, that little thing talking about money back. I drive good. I drive like Miss Daisy, and I still don't get any of that money back. So I would rather give them less money a month than to give them more money. So, and to do that, you get to save on your car insurance by improving your credit. So let's just say you start working on your credit. This is a little tip for you, real quick. Let's say you start working on your credit, and 6 months from now, you've improved by like 120 points. You've gone from a 600 to a 720 on your credit. That would be a good time to reach out to your auto insurance company and to ask them um, to reduce your rate. And they would do that by they would do a soft pull on your credit. You can have your credit ran for car insurance, and it does not and it does not take a hit on your credit. All right. So when you do that, then that gives you the ability to have that gives you the ability to save on your monthly bill. All right. All right. So let's see here. All right. Hang on here. I'm going to play a video for you guys. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna play a video for you guys real quick. So just hang on 1 second. All right, I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Give me 1 second here. All right. All right. Okay, so I'm here on my website, and I apologize for the delay. I was trying to get to it. I am going to play this video for you. If anyone knows how Technology just seems to have its way sometimes, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna do it on this screen here. All right. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. We'll use this time to answer a few questions. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. We'll use this time to answer a question or two before we go to the next part. All right. Let's see. Oh, no questions, so we'll go ahead and get started.
Congratulations on taking the first steps toward a sound financial future. This short video tutorial will take you through our program to help you remove erroneous, obsolete, and inaccurate information from your credit report. We also want to share with you your role in helping you establish a sound financial future for you and your family. United Credit Education Services is a DBA for the Youth Financial Literacy Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. At United Credit Education Services, we take great pride in our exceptional rating with the Better Business Bureau and on the educational programs we offer to consumers and the thousands of middle school children across the United States that participate in our award-winning Family Mint program. So let's get started on your credit restoration program. The first thing we need to do is obtain and analyze your credit reports from the major credit agencies. In order to do this, you need to activate your credit restoration and watch the short video detailing how the credit process works. Once completed, the information from this credit report will be uploaded into your online account, which we will discuss a little later in this video. As we continue this process, we will need you to take a few steps to assure quick and accurate results. First, add us to your contact list to receive all of our communications. Once we have obtained a copy of your credit reports, we will analyze them and draw up your dispute letters based on what we find. We will then send them to you in the mail. Simply wait for your dispute letters to arrive in the mail. They will be mailed to your home in a 9x11 white envelope that contains a packet of information on the dispute process and your dispute letters for Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Review these documents carefully to assure these are the correct items that you want disputed. If changes need to be made to your dispute letters, please contact us at United Credit and we will make the necessary corrections. After reviewing your letters, you will also need to add an identification document page to each. The credit agencies are looking to prevent identity theft, as they're going to be supplying you with personal and financial information. To accomplish this, they're going to be asking for proof of your Social Security number and current residence. Social Security verification must include your full name and all 9 digits of your Social Security number. Acceptable Social Security documents are a copy of your Social Security card, an employer pay stub, or a tax form, such as a 1099 or W-2. In addition to the Social Security document, you will need to provide a proof of residence that reflects the name and address that you used in your application with United Credit. Acceptable address documents are a credit card or utility bill, insurance statements, or a valid driver's license, provided it has the correct address on it. Simply take one document from both categories, put them back onto a blank sheet of paper, and then photocopy, scan, or print a photo of the page, and your ID sheet will be done. Make sure that you have 3 copies of your ID page, as you will need to attach 1 copy to each of the 3 letters before sending them out. After reviewing your letters and adding a page of identification documents, sign and mail them to each credit agency. Their address will be found at the top of each letter. In about 30 to 45 days after mailing your dispute letters, you should begin receiving responses from the credit agencies. By law, the credit agencies are required to contact your creditors, review the information you provided, and respond back to you. Forward a copy of any and all responses you receive to United Credit Education Services. When we receive your information, we will update your account online and prepare your next round of dispute letters. Keep in mind that individual results vary depending on your credit profile and participation in the program. You will also be able to access your account online at www.united-credit.org. Go to the top of the page and click on the login button. Your username will be your email address, and your password will be the last 4 digits of your social security number. After you sign in, you will arrive at...
Okay, so I kind of want to end there. What I wanted to do was just kind of show you guys now, that is one system, but what I wanted to show you guys in that is not necessarily the program that we offer. That was, I just wanted to kind of show you the process that is available to you to restore your credit. And so in that, we have several different programs that you can use. And so that was just one way. The main thing I wanted you to get out of that is that it's a process that you have to go through, and that once you're going through the process, it becomes easier for you. And so there's a system that is already out there. I want to talk about, so the next thing that we're going to discuss is credit card payment. And I'm kind of big on credit cards because they're the quickest way to build your credit, and they're also the quickest way to tear it down. It was designed that way. And so we're going to go through the science of it. We're going to talk about a few other products and services that can help you restore your credit, build your credit, and how you can save money. So like I said, that is really our biggest ticket item, saving money. And we save money not by just putting it in the bank, but saving money on things such that would charge us high interest. All right. So I'm going to share the screen with you guys again. I want to show you some things. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat so that we can try to get your questions answered on today. I want to answer as many questions as I can. All right, and we are here. Or technology, I tell you, it brings you where you're able to share things with people across the world. So here we go. We're going to get into what's called the credit card payment. If you're writing and taking notes, this will be a good time to take notes because we're going to go through each one of these items. And so we'll spend about the next 10, 15 minutes on this because we're going to use the same principle for any bill, not just for credit cards. It'll be the same process for whatever other bills that we are doing. Okay. So if you're, let's say you have a credit card and the credit limit is $500. So we're going to use that for example. You don't want to exceed 30% of the card. So if the card is $500, 30% would be $150. Okay. So, in other words, when you get a $500 credit card, you want to pretend in your mind and make it a habit that even though the creditor says, hey, I'm giving you a $500 credit card, I want you to hear $150 because 30% of what you have a limit to is what is needed for utilization on your credit. So we'll talk about that. Just take my word for it. I'll break it down a little bit more. So if you get a $500 credit card, you want to say, no, I only have $150. So do the math. Whatever the amount of the card is, you want to multiply that by 30%. Okay. So if the card is $100, you can only spend $30. If the card is $500, you can only spend $150. Okay. So just put that note to the side and we'll come back to that in a minute. Do not exceed more than 30% of the card. So if the card is $500, don't go over $150. If you utilize the card of $500, you want to pay it down before the reporting date. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Just make a note of that. If I use this card and it's $500 and I have a true emergency or something comes up, I have to buy a certain item, I have to know that I have to have this paid back down at least to $150 before the reporting date, okay? use your credit card as you would cash. For example, light bill, gas, um, grocery store. So basically, if you're building credit, so hear me, our whole purpose here is to build our credit score. Whether you have a 700 and you want an 850, or if you have a 650 and you want a 700, if you have a 440 and you want to get a 620. These are the things that's going to help you improve your score. Now, there are many other things, but today we're going to mainly concentrate on credit cards. I will have another class in August, and we'll talk about some other topics. But tonight we're kind of really getting around credit cards. And don't worry, if you don't have a credit card, don't go anywhere. I'm going to get to you in just a second, okay? So you want to utilize 30% of the card. You want to have it paid down by the reporting date. So let's say, for example, you had to replace your air conditioner in your car and you had to use the credit card. You need to keep in mind, you need to have it paid down before the reporting date. If you are in the process of building credit, establishing credit, if you just want to have good credit, so and save money on the interest. Remember we talked about the interest earlier. So we're going back to that, saving money on the interest, because the extra money you give on interest, you could be doing what? Putting it in your emergency fund. All right. All right. So for example, use the card for things that you would normally pay with cash. So if you have $100 and you're going to go to the grocery store Friday and you say, hey, Friday, I'm going to spend $100 at the grocery store. Well, what you will want to do is, if you're in the process of building credit, you want to use your credit card to buy the same grocery. You just go to the grocery store, you buy your $100 that you already budgeted for. Remember, we talked about budget and saving money. So you have $100 that you're going to spend on groceries this Friday. So instead of paying with cash, you're going to use your credit card. You go in the store, you make your groceries, you pay for it with your credit card. Once you get to the register, you check out, you go home, you put your things away. Now you want to in turn take that same $100 that you were going to already spend, and you want to take about $80 of it and apply it to your credit card bill. I mean, like as soon as you get home, $85, $90. We're going to talk a little bit about how to work the numbers. I'm telling you how the science of credit is established. You don't build credit by getting into debt. I know a lot of times, except for when you have to get a secure card, but that's technically like a saving. We'll get back to that. But to build credit, you do not have to go into debt doing it. Use your money for the exact same things you would use it for as if you were going to pay cash. So let me go through that example again. You budget it for $100 every Friday for groceries. Take the credit card, use your credit card at your local grocery store. You buy your $100 worth of groceries. You get home, you unload your things, you go sit to your computer, and you transfer the same $100 you would have spent on your debit card, and you are going to pay your credit card bill. So you spent $100. Let's say you want to pay $85 on the bill. Do it right then. Don't wait, because trust me, something else is going to come up. You want to go ahead and pay that credit card bill. Now, the purpose of doing that, I know a lot of times I tell people just do it, but I can't explain it. So let me explain it to you. I'm not going to do like I do my kids, just do what I say. No, I'm going to explain to you why we are doing it. All right. So you want to take and pay the, you don't want to go into debt. That's why we're using our cash to pay our bill. So you're going to go to the store, you're going to get home, you're going to pay the credit card bill. What that does, it has activity on your credit card. If you don't use it, you don't get any points. Like I say, if you don't use it, you lose it. So in order to gain points on your credit card and your credit score, you must use the card. There are some companies that will cut you off if you have like 6 months of inactivity, or if you're too sporadic with it and you never use it, they can actually cut your card, or they could lower your limit. They can say, hey, since you're not really using this credit, we can take this credit and give it to someone else, because they do have rules and regulations that they have to follow. They may can only give out $1,000 worth of credit. Well, if they've given you 800 and you're only using 100, well, then they can give that credit to someone else. So if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So that's one part of why you want to use your credit card. The other purpose of using your credit card is so that you can get into a buying habit, and that it will put limits on you, because you already know, now I'm in a habit of budgeting. I'm in a habit of monitoring my spending. I have a goal set. So if I want to get 10 points this month, I know that I have to use this card, pay it before the reporting date. All right. So you want to make sure that you're using your card for things that you would pay cash for. You're not going to go shopping just to be going shopping. If you need gas in your car, you are going to use your credit card, okay? If you need to pay your light bill, you're going to use your credit card. To pay your cable bill, use your credit card. But pay the credit card bill as soon as you get home, okay? All right, so now you've done two things. You paid your bill and you are building credit. All right, pay what you use. If you borrow, pay it. Don't borrow more than you can pay, and don't take more than you need. I know that there are a lot of companies out here telling people, oh, you can max your card out, and I know a way that you can not pay it. That is not ethical, and I don't mean to take it here on this business card. It's not godly either. So don't do it. If you borrow something from someone, pay it. I know Walmart and Discover, they got all this money, they don't need your $2. Yes, they do. They loaned it to you with good faith that you were going to pay it back. So if you borrow it, pay it back. Okay. I'm not here to give you any tricks to the trade of not paying it back. I'm here to show you how to pay it back without breaking the bank. And I'm here to teach you how to save money and how to build credit so that you don't have to come out of pocket when it comes time to pay a deposit or to buy a new car. You want to have the low interest rate. You want to pay 7% versus 24% for a car. And so to get that, these are the things that I'm going to teach you tonight. I'm not teaching you about a magic, like I said earlier, I don't have a magic wand, but I do have a system that is built for success if you want to do the work, okay? Do not pay the card down to zero. It's a big no-no. If you use the card and you put $100 on it, pay $95.15. Just don't pay it down to zero. And so you're going to say, well, that's going to leave me like $4 and something in interest that I got to pay. Well, if you want credit, you have to pay. You have to pay something. They're not going to give you credit for a point if you don't give them some cash. So the trade-off is you let me make a little interest, I'll give you a better credit score. The key to it is not to let them make a lot of interest, okay? So if you spend $100 and your card is maxed to $100, don't pay it down to zero. Pay it down to $97.13. Don't pay it to zero. When you pay it to zero, that's no credit, okay? Bad credit and no credit are in the same boat. It's not good credit, okay? If you pay it down to zero, you have no credit, okay? You have to show that, hey, I am a responsible adult. You can give me some money and I will pay you back. That's called earning credit. So in order to earn credit, you have to use it and you have to let it mature some interest, okay? All right, next item. If it's due on the 15th, so this is where your homework comes in. I want everybody on here, if you're looking to build credit, get all your bills tonight or start tonight. I don't know, some of you may have a lot of bills, might take a couple of nights, but hey, it doesn't matter. Like I said earlier, I am not a person that judge. I am not here to condemn. I am not telling you something from a textbook, even though I have the credentials to do it. I'm telling you what I've learned through life. I went up the rough side of the mountain on this thing. I didn't have anybody teaching me this when I was going through it. So I took what I learned in school and I combined it with what life taught me. And through the grace of God, I'm here able to share and teach you on tonight. So when I say things, trust me, it's not to put you down. It's just to say, look, hey, I need to give you the real truth. I can't sugarcoat it. Get all of your bills, open them. Get a sheet of paper, or if you like using electronics, use your phone, whatever you're gonna do it consistently. Get all of your bills, stack them up, face the reality. I've had clients that come to me and we get ready to start working and I'm like, okay, where's your bill? They're all not, the envelopes are sealed shut. I'm like, you gotta open these bills. So let's face the music. If you gotta have your glass of tea and put you some Anita Baker on before you open them, do whatever you got to do. You're gonna have to get these bills and you have to open them. All right. So let's do that. I want you to know, if it's a credit card, when is it due? And not just when it's due, when does it report? So now that means you're gonna have to sit down and get on the phone. That may not be on all credit card statements. Some of them do have it on there. So for example, the bill is due on the 15th, but they report on the 7th. So in your mind, you're thinking, oh, I need to pay this bill before the 15th. No, you need to pay it before the 7th. Okay. All right. So find out when they report. Typically, it's not the same date. And like I said, that's a science to it. Look, credit is a game. If you want to use their money and you want credit, you got to play by their rules, okay? And the rule is if it's due on one day, you want to make sure you're paying before the reporting date. What is the reporting date? That is the date that they report your information to the credit bureau. Okay, that is the date they say, hey, Sally Johnson did not pay her bill on time. Sally Johnson barely paid. So you're wondering why my score isn't moving. Well, you're just doing the bare minimum and you're paying it by the due date. No, you want to pay it by the reporting date. Okay. So for example, that $500 that we talked about earlier, we're only going to use 150 of it, and we're going to use $100 to go to the grocery store, but the bill is not due to the 15th. We want to make sure we pay it before the reporting date, which is on the 7th in this case. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you another little tip in between before we go to the next part. If the bill is due on the 7th, okay, and this is examples. That's why I say you have to sit down with your bill, and every card is going to be different. So you want to make sure that you have a clear understanding of what you owe, when it is due, and when does it report, okay? And then write this down if you take a note. When you find out when it does report, find out who they're reporting to. That's very important. If they're only reporting to TransUnion, or they're reporting to LexisNexis, or they're reporting to Experian, who are they reporting to? You need to know that. And this is information that they are by law to give you. So it's not like when you're going to call and they're not going to tell you. They might be shocked that you ask, but no, this is information that they are to share. If you ever run into a problem with that, let me know. I have just the phone number for you to call. All right, so if the bill is due on the 7th and it's an amount of $20, well, we always want to pay more than the minimum. I don't care if it's $21.50. If the minimum is 20, pay 21, okay? All right, next tip would be to break the payment up, all right? If it's due on the 7th in the amount of $20, we're gonna pay 21. So on the 4th, we're gonna pay $11, okay? Then on the 5th, we're gonna pay $10, all right? Because we're gonna pay it early. We're gonna budget, so we're gonna pay it early. And we're gonna split the payment up. Now, I get this question a lot. Why split it up? Why not just pay the $21 by the 7th or before the 7th, according to this example? Well, that's one of the rules I didn't make up, so I don't know. So paying it before the due date and breaking the payments in half or in threes, because I have a client, she'll pay, her bill is due on the 15th, so she pays part of it on the 1st, and she pays it on the 5th and the 10th. So she does the 1st, 5th, and 10th for the same bill, the same amount she would have paid at one time. What does that do? It boosts your credit score, okay? All right, and it also saves you interest because interest occurs daily in most cases. So it saves you save in two ways. So this now becomes some work. So, and it'll also, when you start doing things strategically and you're doing things according to the system and you're understanding the science of credit, it'll also teach you some discipline. Like, hey, I got to go through all this work if I mess this up. And before you mess it up, you're going to think about all these long nights you spent writing down all of your bills, getting on the phone with creditors, finding out what you owe and what's the payoff and your interest rate. You also want to find out your interest rate. Find out what your interest rate is. If I ask each of you right now on that credit card that's in your wallet, what is your interest rate? When is it due? When does it report? Who do they report to? These are questions that you should be able to answer. You signed your name on the line. You are obligated to pay this bill. You need to know everything about it. And find out where the owner lives. You know, anything you want to know about it. What's his favorite food? Ask the question. Hey, I want to know. All right. So select a card that has more than credit limit. So let's talk about the perks. If you are a person that loves to, let me answer this question real quick. All right, let's see. The question is, so you are to break the payment down into 2 or 3 payments and pay those payments before the reporting date or the due date. Great question. You want to forget the due date. You just need to know what it is just in case of a last minute. In your mind, start thinking reporting date. And so let me answer this real quick. If the reporting date is the 20th, but the due date is the 15th, well, of course, you're going to pay it by the 15th, but this particular month, I'm going to pay it twice so that now I'm ahead of the game. You follow me? Sometimes if the reporting date is after the due date, one of those months, make a double payment so that you can get ahead of it. All right. What if I pay a credit card off I don't want anymore? How do I get rid of the account? You're kind of stuck. This is like that bad relationship that your mom told you don't get in, and then you just get in it, and then you just stuck with this joker for life. Pretty much how this is gonna work. Okay, so let me tell you how it goes. Don't close it. I had a client. I don't know if it was JCPenney's or Sears. It must have been Sears, because I mean, I don't even know if there's a Sears around. And she had this card maybe 30 years. Well, because I don't know where she got the information, she closed it. But you know, you can use your Sears card at JCPenney. And so that's what she had been doing. And she closed it. And her score took like 120-point plunge. Because we're going to talk about that in a minute. One of the slides is going to tell us how our credit score. I'm gonna bring that up really quick. How our credit score is broken down. But to answer your question, you kind of stuck with the card until you get to a 750 or better, and you can afford to take a 20, 30, 40, 50-point hit. Depends on how long you've had the card, you would have to replace it with a card before you close it. So for example, if you've had this account 5 years, you would want to wait till you get another card and you've had it 5 years, okay? So that when you close it, you have something else to offset it with. You don't want to close, and this may be the only account that you have longevity with. So this would probably warrant a consultation. I am offering everyone on here a free consultation. So I'll get you that information. But generally, you can only replace it when you have something to replace it with. If now you have 5 or 6 credit cards and they're all in good standing, you could probably afford to take a hit. But you don't want to take away your longevity, and that's the only card that you have. Did I damage myself paying the loan off? There's a difference between a loan and a credit. Was it a loan or a credit card? So that'll make the difference. So that's probably gonna. I think we're gonna need a consult. Okay. But back to the point of not wanting the card. All right, so if you got a JCPenney card, a Macy card, and you don't really like that store, they're not part of your movement anymore, and so now you just don't like them, or you went in there and the sales clerk was rude. Well, use it at Christmas time. Go in there once a year and buy something, and drag it out over the course of 12 months until you're able to replace that card. I'm not saying you have to go give them a lot of money, but remember the focus here is to build points. All right. Or we at the question. So, select a card that has more than just credit limit. If you're a person that likes to travel, I like to travel. So we're gonna talk about travel. So let's say you like to travel, and you're applying for a new card. You don't have a credit card, or you have some, and you want another one. Pick a card that you're gonna use, and pick a card that will give you something else, an equal trade-off. So let's say you travel a lot and your tickets usually cost you $200-300. Well, if you're gonna use this credit card to pay your light bill, gas bill, if you're gonna notice, you're gonna start racking up points. Okay. Well, you want to get points and stuff that you're gonna use. It would do me no good to get points for a free hockey game. I'm never going. So you want to see where your points will build up to, so that instead of me now buying a plane ticket to go see my son or to go see my daughter, I can now use that money that I would spend, and I can use the points from the credit card to have a free ticket. So don't just get a credit card because they're offering you the limit. Where else can it save me money? Okay, if it's going to give me free coffee, I mean, I can buy my own coffee. I need this card to do something for me that now can give me money to save to do what? What are we doing with our money? Putting it in an emergency fund. All right, yes. So secured, unsecured cards. plain English, secured means I give you some money, you give me a card with a limit, and you hold my money as collateral. Okay, if I run off to Alaska, at least now you have the money to recuperate, to recoup your funds. The advantage of having a secured card is one of the fastest ways to grow credit. You can get with your local credit union or reach out to your bank. I had a client that gave me some information on a company that allows you, even with no credit, to build credit with them. And I want to make sure that if you need help with anything during our consultation, take note, and remind me of it, and I'll make sure that you all are able to take advantage of it. But there are so many options out there to build credit. You just have to do the work and have to slow down and pay attention so that you don't make matters worse. Okay. Um, Unsecured means that you've gotten something on your word. You purely got it on credit and with the intention, with the hope of you paying it back. So you want to make sure that you pay any and everything that you gather. Do not add other users. Do not co-sign for anybody, anything. Can y'all say it for the people in the back? Don't co-sign. If they cannot afford it without you, they don't need it. Save it. And look, I know parents, I know that's hard, and I know you want to help the church mother out, but if she don't have it, no. Because life happens to you. That's why you're on here, or that's why you're watching a replay, or life happens to everybody. We're not, I know a lot of times we think we're special and life only happens to us, but life happens to everybody. So if you co-sign for someone and they don't honor their word, now not only does that incriminate you and mess up your credit score, it also hinders you on your debt income ratio. So I know a lot of times people don't think about that. If you're working really hard to get your credit improved, and the other person could actually be paying their car note on time, they never miss a beat, they're excellent on paying. But what happens is not just if they're paying well, what happens if you get ready to go buy a house and you co-sign for them a car? That car note is now factored into your debt income ratio. So it's not just about the credit score. Don't forget, when you go to apply to buy a home or to buy a car, to buy whatever else, they'll say, well, you got this $500 bill that you have to pay every month, so you don't make enough money to get whatever it is you're trying to get. But you're like, well, my cousin, she pays the bill and she pays it on time. Well, they still have to keep into account that you're responsible 100% for the bill just in case she defaults. They don't know if cousin is going to have life happen to her next month. So that does go into your debt income ratio. So don't co-sign for anyone. But I know this sounds crazy, but you can request to be an added user to someone else. But you will want to make sure it's a person that has good credit. So let's say if you had that auntie that had that Sears card since 1946, you might want to ask auntie, hey auntie, can you add me to your account? You know she's gonna pay it. She always pays all her bills. But you want to be very careful about that too, because being added as a user, it has the flip of, effect as well. But don't add anybody on yours. But if you got that one cousin that pays every bill every time, you might want to be on their account to help your credit score out. I'm from down south, and we call that being cheeky. I don't know if you guys know what that means. That means I won't do it for you, but you could do it for me. That's called being cheeky. But anyway, just a little sidebar. All right, so our next thing that we're going to talk about, let's see. Okay, so we don't have time to get into all of this. We have about 10 minutes left, or 5 minutes left, and I want to open up the line for questions. I just wanted to kind of hold you guys on here for an hour, so from 6:30 to 7:30. I will be posting more classes on next week, and so just go on our website and get all the information. Register for the classes. If they are no cost, take it. I'm going to give everybody on here a chance to get a coupon so that you can take any other class at no cost. So, all right. So I'm going to go back real quick. Let me just kind of skim through here and see what we have. We talked about the emergency fund. I think I've been talking about that all night. So if your emergency fund is not 1,000, get it to 1,000. If you have $1,000, make it 2. Set yourself a new goal. All right. I really want to talk about some of these things that's on here. So we're going to do part 2. How about that? I'm going to email everybody part 2. I'll set something up. I'll get with my assistant, and we'll set something up to do part two, because there's a lot of things in here that's really, really good. I wanted to talk about retirement. We talked about earlier on that slide where we saw that for what was it, 56% of baby boomers don't have at least $10,000 saved. And we're talking about if they're going to live 20 years and there's 12 months in a year and they only have 10,000, so yeah, we definitely want to talk about that. A new venture career, talking about earning some extra income to pay off some bills to get out of debt without working more hours, because we're already tired already. And then I just added 2 nights, 2 hours to your night by telling you to get your bills together. So you got to have time to do that. Monitor your credit. What else? Oh, now we'll talk about the last bullet point on here. Spend your money on paper. If you know you're going to get $1,000 next week, take a sheet of paper out or your phone, whichever way you prefer. Put the $1,000 on paper. Spend it on paper. You're going to see how many times you're going to draw a line through this and a line through that. You want to spend it before you get it on paper. Okay? Don't go buy nothing. Don't charge anything. I mean, spend it on paper before you get the money so that you can tell your money what it's going to do and not your money telling you what you're going to do. Spend it on paper first. That will help keep you accountable. It will help you budget. And so there are some more things we need to definitely talk about that's on this slide that we won't get to tonight. So what I do want to make sure that everyone has my website, which is martinbusinesssolution.com. Our foundation, the AK Legacy Foundation, is where, name your money. Yeah, someone put in the chat, name your money. Yes, every dollar has a name. If you have $10, give them all a name. $1 for a cup of water, $1 for a pair of socks. I'm talking about spend every dollar on paper. So back to what I was saying, I want to make sure that everybody has my website. That is for the Martin Business Solution. That is for the business services, such as the credit restoration video that we watched earlier and things of that nature. But our foundation, I don't think I have that on here. So I'm going to type it in the chat. And this is also our YouTube channel if you want to go back and watch the video. That's where you can find us on YouTube. And then, of course, it would be www.aklegacyfoundation.org if you would like to see what classes that we have. The foundation offers scholarships. So let's say there's a course that you would like to take on financing, or if you want to get started with a service or a product and you just can't quite get it there, you can apply through our foundation to get financial literacy services to you. But as I said earlier, everyone can go on here and schedule a consultation. Those are 15-minute consultations. That's no cost any day. But let's say you want me to go over some things with you. You have your credit report. You have some things that you would like for me to go over with you. I'm going to give you a coupon. Can everyone see the chat? I hope you can. I'm going to put this coupon in the chat. You can only use it once. So if you give it to somebody, it's not going to let you use it. So, but if you have someone you want to bless it with, then fine. I mean, if you're able to pay for it, that discount code, you can go on and schedule for one of the classes. Most of the classes are $97, some maybe a little less, where we kind of go through some other things. So if you don't see the class that you want, reach out to me, find out when I'm going to be hosting that class, save your coupon for then. If not, if there's a class on there that you would like to take now, at martinbusinesssolution.com, go ahead and put the code in so that you can save on the fee. And that code will expire in December, so you have all the way till December 31st to apply it. So I appreciate you guys being on. I am going to take maybe one or two questions, and then we will conclude. Now, I want to put this up here really quick. Wednesday, if you go and register, this is no cost. We're going to be discussing taxes, SBA resources for your state. This is going to be about an hour and a half. I had a meeting today, conference call with the IRS today, and I have one tomorrow with the SBA, just to kind of get some last minute things. There's a lot of money going around, and then there's a lot of things coming behind all of that. So you want to be informed. You want to make sure you make an informed decision. It's a lot of information overload. You want to make sure that you stay in compliance and that you don't do anything that could cause you damage later, especially if you're working on improving your credit. You want to tune in. This is Wednesday at 11. It will also stream on YouTube. And if you're not able to tune in at 11, don't worry, don't fret. Just make sure you register, because everyone that registers will get the replay information. So if you're not able to watch live, you will be able to watch the replay later if you are registered. So this will be Wednesday at 11. We're going to talk about taxes, SBA money, and some other things related to that. All right. And Q&A. So let me open the line on here somewhere. Hold on, guys. Participant. All right, let me unmute everybody. Now, if you have background noise, I ask that you do stay on mute until you ask your question. So everyone is able to unmute and mute yourself. So if you have a question that you would like to ask, feel free to do so now. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out and let you know. No question?
I have a question. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I put in the chat. I paid my credit card down to 0. You said we would talk. I would do a consultation with you in reference to the loan and if it may have affected it. But with me paying that credit card down to 0, and I paid that loan out, my credit score went down 3 points. So paying that credit card down to 0 could have possibly affected that, correct?
Correct. Do you still have the card, or did you pay it off and close it?
No, I still have the card. I just paid it down.
Okay, so you want to
So I'm going to start using it like you said, use it $100, and I'm going to call and find out when they report it. So I'm going to apply all of that. I just did not know that it would drop my score.
Yes, and if you leave it at 0 too long, they could potentially start chipping away at your credit limit and then eventually closing the card, because they'll look at a pattern. Eventually they'll have like this little box. I mean, you just kind of use your imagination, and they'll put everybody in this box that's overspending. Then there's a box of people that kind of do it just right. And then there's that box like you that says, hey, I owe you guys $100. I'm paying it down to 0. You guys are in that box. They're not making any money off of you. So eventually they're going to say, you know what? We're going to cut that card. So you got to have some activity. Now, once you've paid all your bills and you made all the money that you ever need to make, and you're a multi-trillionaire and you don't need credit, then you don't have to use it. But if you need credit, or you're thinking about making a major purchase in the future and you want to get that score up, you have to use the credit card. If you don't use it, you lose it.
I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
You said with credit with a card, maybe a 500, you don't go over 30%. But if you have an emergency, say if you something happens with your car and it costs $462, and you use that card, you're going to use over 30% of it, but you just need to pay all of that back before the reporting date, and it won't affect you.
Correct. Make sure you have it paid before the report date. But remember, don't pay it down to 0. So let's say you pay back $444.19. Okay, so leave a little something on that credit card. And so yes, you want to make sure that. So if you have to use it, and worst case scenario, let's say something happens the day before the reporting date and you had to use it, and it is a true emergency, at least make sure you pay it before the due date. So if that's a rare occasion, it's 12 months in a year, and it's happened one time out of the year, great. Now, if you're having emergencies every month, we need to have another conversation anyway.
Okay.
And I happen to know this lady, so I can talk to her like that. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right. Well, I am going to conclude. I want to make sure I'm going to go back one slide or so make sure everybody has my information. Don't forget to register for that. This is our website. Please go to our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel, the AK Legacy Foundation. Everything that we do there, it helps our youth, and it helps get us exposure to get financial literacy out to men and women, boys and girls. We like to help everyone in every community have a better quality of life. And so we do that through our financial literacy and business development. And a way that we get to do that is by having subscribers to our YouTube channel. So please go to AK Legacy Foundation and like and subscribe, comment, share our videos. And so with that, I will make sure that I email each and every last one of you that are on here the information about our next class so that we can go through some more things. Those classes will be at no cost. And if you would like to attend one of our paid classes, you have that coupon in there that Save 100. I saw someone unmuted themselves. Does anyone have a question before I exit out?
Yes, I had one. I didn't unmute in
Yeah.
time.
Okay, that's fine.
So if you are, like, if you're rebuilding your credit, and let's say you have a secured credit card, right?
Mhm.
So, well, I guess I and this might need a consultation, but I'm using a kind of a new product where basically you're setting your own credit limit with the card, and it's just reporting every month, that you're paying it off, And
Right.
so if you're not supposed to pay it down to zero, would that type of reporting like not give you the bump that you're looking for, or is that a
It
different
depends.
plan?
I am familiar with those self-pay programs.
Mhm.
It depends on what their rules are. And I tell
Mhm.
people, the game of credit, the typical traditional credit is you would have to know what, when is the reporting date and all those things. Now, if in their rule, if it says that if you do not pay it in full by this date, you will, lose a couple of points. That would be something I would love to read the language with you to make
Okay.
sure. I don't want to just give you an answer because it may have it in there. So that's why I want everybody to get every bill that they have, find out what all the rules are. You signed up for this. You have this card. We need to know how it works, when it works, why it works, where it works. This is yeah. So we'll get those bills together and we'll go through it. No problem.
Okay.
I'll read it.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. All right, so I'm excited and I am looking forward to 12 months from now. I'm anticipating getting testimony from you guys. I'm going to click on the website one day and I'm going to see this post about how you paid off all your debt. You got out of debt, you bought this new house, you're flying to Aruba. I don't know. You're going to be doing something great. So I am looking forward to it. And I pray that God favor goes before you and that you're able to do everything that you have set your heart out to do. You guys be blessed.